September 11, 2001, a day that would forever alter the course of history, the United States experienced a nightmare beyond imagination. As the sun rose over New York City, 19 hijackers divided into 4 teams boarded 4 separate domestic flights scheduled to depart from airports on the east coast of the United States. American Airlines, Flight 11, and United Airlines Flight 175 departed from Boston's Logan International Airport. American Airlines Flight 77 took off from Washington Dulles International Airport, and United Airlines Flight 93 left Newark International Airport. Each team comprised a trained pilot and several hijackers tasked with subduing passengers and crew. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 was the first to reach its target, crashing into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, between the 93rd and 99th floors. The impact created a massive explosion that instantly killed hundreds of people and trapped many more in the floors above the crash site. Initially, many thought it was a tragic accident, but the situation became alarmingly clear shortly after. At 9:03 a.m., just 17 minutes later, Flight 175 struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center between the 77th and 85th floors. The second impact, witnessed live by millions through television broadcasts, confirmed that the United States was under a coordinated terrorist attack. The collisions caused massive fires fueled by the plane's jet fuel, weakening the structural integrity of both skyscrapers. Meanwhile, at 9:37 a.m., Flight 77 crashed into the western facade of the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense. The impact caused a section of the building to collapse and resulted in the deaths of 125 military and civilian personnel inside the Pentagon, in addition to the 59 passengers and crew aboard the flight. The fourth plane, Flight 93, was delayed in taking off, providing passengers time to learn about the other hijackings through phone calls with relatives and friends. Realizing their grim situation, passengers and crew members bravely attempted to overpower the hijackers to prevent another catastrophic attack. During the struggle, the plane crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, at 10:03 a.m., killing all 44 people on board. It is widely believed that the hijackers intended to target either the White House or the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C., and the passengers' heroic actions thwarted this plan. Back in New York City, the situation was escalating rapidly. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed after burning for approximately 56 minutes. The structural damage from the impact combined with the intense heat from the fires caused the steel framework to fail, leading to the catastrophic collapse. The North Tower followed suit, collapsing at 10:28 a.m. after burning for about 102 minutes. The collapses generated enormous clouds of dust and debris that engulfed Lower Manhattan, causing additional injuries and fatalities among first responders and civilians. Emergency response teams, including firefighters, police officers, and medical personnel, rushed to the scenes amidst chaos and danger. Their efforts were heroic and tireless, with many sacrificing their lives in attempts to rescue survivors and control the disaster. The New York City Fire Department lost 343 firefighters, the police department lost 23 officers, and the Port Authority Police Department lost 37 officers, marking it as the deadliest incident for first responders in U.S. history. In total, the attacks resulted in the deaths of 2,977 victims, excluding the 19 hijackers. The casualties included individuals from over 90 countries, highlighting the global impact of the tragedy. Thousands more were injured, and countless others were exposed to hazardous materials and toxins released during the attacks and subsequent collapses, leading to long-term health issues and fatalities in the years that followed. The immediate aftermath of the attacks saw a nationwide grounding of all civilian aircraft, the first and only time in U.S. history. The stock markets closed for several days, and when they reopened, they suffered significant losses. The U.S. government swiftly initiated a series of measures to respond to the attacks, including launching the War on Terror, which led to military operations in Afghanistan aimed at dismantling al-Qaeda and removing the Taliban from power for harboring terrorists. The attacks also prompted significant changes in domestic and international security policies. The U.S. established the Department of Homeland Security and enacted the USA Patriot Act to enhance law enforcement's abilities to prevent future terrorist activities. Airport security protocols were overhauled globally, leading to more stringent screening processes and the creation of the Transportation Security Administration. The seeds of the 9/11 attacks were sown years prior, rooted in a complex web of geopolitical tensions and extremist ideologies. Al-Qaeda, a militant Islamist organization founded by Osama Bin Laden in the late 1980s, harbored deep resentment towards the United States for its foreign policies in the Middle East, particularly its support for Israel and the presence of American troops in Saudi Arabia during and after the Gulf War. This animosity culminated in a series of attacks against U.S. interests throughout the 1990s, including the 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in East Africa and the 2000 attack on the USS Cole in Yemen. These incidents underscored al-Qaeda's growing capacity and intent to inflict significant damage on American targets. The 9/11 attacks had profound and lasting effects on American society and the world at large. They reshaped global politics, intensified debates over security and civil liberties, and had significant economic repercussions. In the years following the attacks, extensive investigations were conducted to understand how such a catastrophic breach in security occurred. The 9/11 Commission report, published in 2004, provided a comprehensive account of the events and recommended numerous reforms to prevent future attacks. Despite the passage of time, the memory of 9/11 continues to evoke deep emotions. The 9/11 attacks were a series of coordinated terrorist actions that resulted in unprecedented loss of life and changed the course of history. As we remember and honor those who lost their lives, it is crucial to continue learning from this tragedy to build a safer and more peaceful world. Thank you for joining us in this comprehensive exploration of the 9/11 incident. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth historical analyses.